All right, how's it going? Haven't done a video in a while, and I figured I'd do like a. I'm always talking about the why on Facebook all the time, and why I like the why so much. I'm just kidding. I'm talking about W, which is tungsten. Just kind of memeing on my friend Mel because she accidentally called it the Y one time. But yeah, tungsten. I just wanted to talk about why I like it so much, why I think it's special, why I think it's better than every other metal, and what better spinner to do it with than my favorite W spinner, the Tungsten Mega Horizon. This thing, man, this thing is so incredible. It's almost difficult to explain how damn good this spinner is. But I guess what I'll start with is what makes tungsten so special and unique to me. When I first got into spinners, I tried every sort of metal. I think I started with copper, and then I tried titanium, and then I tried zirc, and I tried brass. I've tried every sort of metal out there, and stainless was kind of where I landed. I liked a lot of stainless spinners, and that's what I ended up buying most of. And then I kept seeing the tungsten guys on Facebook always talking about tungsten all the time, and I thought like, man, that's probably super heavy. I don't even know if that's going to be doable or even fun to spin. Man, was I wrong with that thought. Luckily, I talked to a couple friends, and actually Jared at Sacred Spins, was telling me about it, and was willing to sell me my first tungsten spinner. So when I first got my first tungsten spinner, I thought it was almost like I was like, man, this is like slow and lumbering, and it's like heavy, and I didn't feel like it was spinning fast, and it didn't initially click for me. I actually found myself going back to most of the other metals. But then over time, like the more I spun it and the more I used it, I started to like it a lot more. And then I decided to start buying some other tungsten spinners. And once I found the other tungsten spinners, it all just kind of like fell into place. But the reason why tungsten I feel like is so special is like the weight of something like this, like ripping across your finger, and the amount of feedback that you get is second to none. I mean, there's no other metal that's going to give you the feedback and the sensation that tungsten gives you. I've been rambling. Let me give this a rip. This spinner's loud on purpose. I love loud. I love feedback. If a spinner is quiet and has no feedback, it's boring to me, and I don't like it. So this spinner is everything that's not quiet and not low feedback. So let's give it a rip. So even like just rotating it, like it fights with you. Like when you rotate a tungsten spinner, like this thing absolutely fights you when you turn it, and just the feedback feels incredible. Ignore the band-aid I cut myself earlier. But let me get a little bit closer to the camera so you can hear. And I'm just going to do a couple little rips so you can hear kind of the feedback. Like that spin and then snap when you catch it, there's nothing else that does that. I mean, you can get little snaps and catches with other spinners, sure, but none that give you this sort of sensation. Like that thing is just hauling ass right now on my thumb, and it's so balanced. Like the Tungsten Mega Horizon, like look at the balance. I don't know if you're familiar with a balance check, but this is probably helpful for people who buy spinners. If you're buying a spinner and you want to know if it's balanced from the seller, have them put it on a table like this and then lift it. See how that thing does not move? Absolutely steady. So that means that it's really well balanced, and there's not a heavy arm on this spinner. I think I have something nearby that's not so well balanced. Let's pull this guy in just to give you that example. So if you lift this spinner, you'll see it slowly starts to rotate to the heavy side. So not perfectly balanced. Still a fun spinner, but just not perfectly balanced. Anyway, back to the Tungsten Mega Horizon. The cutouts. So these cutouts here, the fact that you've got all of the weight on the outsides makes it a very unique spin. these cutouts here, and I know a lot of people like to run the balls. You can put tungsten balls or different sort of balls in here, and it makes like a cool rattling sound. I like it, but for me, I really like the speed of a spin, and I feel like the balls kind of affect that a little bit. It kind of slows it down a little bit. Yes, the trade-off is you get really cool sound, but I like my sound to come from my bearing, like that. Like that to me is freaking magic. The spinner is just straight magic. It's hard to explain how interesting and how cool this thing is. Another thing people say, oh, and I'm running some shims because I wanted to get it a little bit higher. I'll probably cover shims in a different video, but yeah, like the way that this thing is shaped, even like, so it's all rounded. Everything on this horizon is rounded perfectly. There are no hot spots. There are no issue areas. It's just a pleasure to spin. So like, if you want to get a really good rip on it, look at this whole part right here is so rounded, and it contours to your finger. So it really lets you rip really hard. And I've heard people say, oh, you can't rip tungsten fast. You can rip tungsten just as fast as anything else if you rip it right. And it's just so comfortable. The spinner is just super comfortable, and it's just a freaking joy to spin. You can flick it too. Due to the weight, and also because I'm using these buttons which kind of like rub a little bit on my finger, you can't really get the best flicks with the setup that I'm running, but if I change the buttons, I could flick it a little bit better. But yeah, Cap right now is just killing it. I agree with Sean. Cap is king. They're the best spinner maker in the world right now, in my opinion. I've tried spinners from everybody, from all different countries and from all over the place, and I've yet to find a better maker than Cap. I might as well cover these superconductor buttons too, because I'm sure somebody's wondering what the hell are those shoes you got on that thing. So these are the American superconductor variant of the buttons, the superconductor buttons that are on Cap's website. They have a number of them, but this one is my absolute favorite. It's just the etching and the colors. I was able to get both sides, different colors. Just the service from Cap is incredible. They make it easy to drop a ton of money on their products because their customer service is just fantastic. But yeah, I guess this video is just more like a love letter to Cap / tungsten / these fancy buttons. I even just like spinning this button sometimes. Like, you get that little circle pattern. Like, even just doing this is fun. But yeah, I think that generally covers my thoughts on tungsten. It's really difficult to explain, but once I got into tungsten, I literally sold just about every other metal that I had. They just don't do it for me anymore. Other metals just don't do it for me anymore. I know there's people that could even go back to titanium. Titanium's gross. Just kidding. I know there's people that like it. I'm just being a troll. But tungsten is just on another level. And I know people talk about like fatigue and stuff. My hands are really big, I guess, like bigger than the average person. Did a lot of wrestling growing up and stuff, so probably have above average hand strength. My fingers are sore sometimes. People talk about getting sore fingers. I definitely get that, but I'm not a softie, so I just spin through it. If I wake up, my fingers are sore, I pick up some W and I spin it some more. I just push through it. It's just that much fun to me. But yeah, I think that's it. This if you don't have this Tungsten Mega Horizon, I would highly suggest getting it. I own a ton of tungsten spinners, and I don't see anything dethroning this Mega. I know they're dropping the OG size soon, and I know that a lot of people are like, oh, the Mega's too big, I'm going to get the OG size. That's fine. I imagine the OG size is going to be absolute fire too. And I'm debating picking up an OG size myself because I like this one so much, the Mega, that I'd be down to get a smaller version of it too. But that's it. I mean, I'm always down to answer questions or help people or whatever. The community was super supportive of me when I started, So now that I have a little bit of knowledge, I love sharing it with other people. So if you ever have any questions, especially about W, don't come to me talking about some TI though. You come to hit me up with a chat. You talking about some TI? I'm gonna say gross. Don't buy it. I'm all about the tungsten. That's where it's at. That's the end game for spinners. I feel like if you want to get to the top and be, spinning the best of the best, you're gonna be spinning some tungsten. But that's it. Everybody have a great weekend, and thanks for watching.